Good evening and welcome along into Canada. We've got qualifying for the Canadian Grand Prix, Season 15 of Wheel2WheelRacing AL2. Should be an exciting qualifying session today.
Yes, it looks like we're going to be having a dry session, so wondering what sort of tyre selection our drivers will be going for today.
Yeah, there are multiple strategies that can be appealing to the drivers. The soft and the medium tire, both good choices to start on.
Looks like we've got 4 cars out on track at the minute, and everybody at the minute is on the soft tyres. Now that might be an indication that we're going to have some wet weather, because if they qualify on the soft tyres but it's a wet race, then they will be starting on wet tyres, meaning they can set a faster lap on the soft tyres.
Yeah, then there's no reason to go for the medium tire if it's going to be a wet race. And you'd have to think if it were going to be a dry race, and maybe there's still a lot of cars to come out of the pit, so we'll see. But if there was going to be a dry race, then there's surely going to be a couple of drivers going for that medium tire.
So I'm just on board with Strident, who's the first one out, setting his qualifying lap.
A little bit of traffic for a letdown estate as he comes around turn 2, and he backs off to the CHM was coming out of the pits there. Now Mike Whiteside goes past too, so
it looks like he was going to be on his flying lap then as well.
Yeah, he may have cut a corner on turn 1, may have invalidated it and then just backed off.
Strident cut the last chicane, meaning he invalidated his lap. It also means his next lap is invalidated, which means he does not set a qualifying lap just yet. To flick down to Old Dads, who's just about to cross the line, having made that chicane without disqualifying himself with a 1:10.2.
The thing for these invalidations is it just completely wastes a set of tires without even getting a time up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So you've wasted the time and the tires.
So who else have we got coming up? Looks like Mark is going to be starting another flying lap now. I say Mark, I mean a letdown estate.
Riding on board with Dastardly as he's starting his first flying lap. The 2 Ferrari teammates will be looking to close the gap in the Constructors' Championship this week. It's a tight race at the top with Renault.
Yes, Matt's been having a good look at our AL2 standings, so we'll be able to fill you in on all the drama that's going on with 8 different races, having 8 different race winners here at Wheel2Wheel.
Yeah, it's been a very competitive season. Very intriguing to see who's going to come out on top on this one. It's a track that can shake up the field a bit with a lot of tight corners and a lot of penalties awarded potentially. It always shakes things up.
I mean, 70 laps here, that's quite a lot to get round within the track limits, out of the Wall of Champions.
Yeah, not a lot of margin for error around this track.
So a letdown estate had set a purple sector 2 and sector 3 and got himself into second place with a 1:10.5, and it looked like Dastardly must have invalidated his lap somewhere, because he did not set the qualifying time. Strident has just picked a letdown estate into second place with a 1:10.4. That's Steve-O just about to cross the line. Yeah, he's starting a flying lap now by the looks on it. I'm going to ride on board with Just Mikey, our current driver championship leader. He's weaving a bit, so I'm wondering if he's... Oh, he's on his out lap. I do apologise.
Riding on board with Steve-O, and he looks to be putting in a good lap. Coming around the end of Sector 2, and it's the fastest Sector 2 time of anybody yet. Here's the final chicane that can make or break your lap right at the end. He takes it smoothly. See what the time is, and he puts it on provisional pole. A good lap from Steve-O, a second ahead of the rest of the field.
That is pretty quick. Just Mikey, Sector 2 with a 41 seconds. Just coming round to the final straight. Sega Takaz has got into his car and he is on the medium tyres, which means it maybe will be a dry start to the race.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how many people do go for that medium tyre.
And Just Mikey, also in the 1 minute 9s with a 1 minute 9.8, puts him into second place.
So such a big gap to Steve-O though. What a lap that was from him.
Strange. Tyre graphics a bit wrong here because it's telling me Steve-O's tyres are no laps old. CHM has invalidated his lap. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 1. Which is around Dastardly and Mike. Yes, Mike Whiteside. Both of them on an out lap, so should be no dramas there. Also worth mentioning that tonight Ted and Prev are on a qualifying ban, so they will start 11th and 12th in this race.
Yes.
Which means they will get free tyre choice.
Yeah, there's the silver lining there for both of them. A lot of fresh tires at the start, whatever they want with their strategy. Riding on board with Strident now as he goes for another hot lap.
Yeah, he put a respectable 1:10.4 in before, so we'll see if he can improve on any of his sector times. Using as much of the track as he can, and he's
improved in the first sector.
Opens his DRS down in Sector 2.
And he's over a 10th down after Sector 2.
Yeah, purple Sector 2.
Is that a purple Sector 2? So a good lap so far from Strident.
He's a 10th down, but he's 1.2 seconds off the lead. So it must have been a really good Sector 2 for him to get through.
There he does on the final chicane.
Wow, it's very tight there, that was. It's very close on the track limits.
But he's gone away with it and gotten up to third. So very close to Mikey is Dastardly. Jumps Mikey, goes into second place.
Mike Whiteside
Dastardly
sets a 1:12.0.
Dastardly will be happy with that, as that puts him in front of Mikey, who is the championship leader. Dastardly in second in the standings, looking to close the gap this week.
My graphics are just telling me that Mikey has put on a set of mediums whilst he's in the pits. So is he looking to get out and beat his soft tyre times with a set of mediums to give him the advantage of going for a longer stint at the start of the race?
Tell you what, it'll take a very good lap to beat that time that he set on the softs with the medium tire.
Yes.
This is what he'll have to do if he wants to start on the mediums.
So I'm just going to have a little look on our website at Wheel2Wheel, because we have two leagues here. We have a league that races on a Wednesday and AL2 that race on a Friday. AL1 has the faster guys in, so I'm just going to have a see what kind of qualifying times was set there. I'll say them on here. Oh, CHM is round, facing the wrong way. It's not what CHM was wanting as he pulls out of the way for his teammate, just Mikey, to get through on them medium tyres.
I'll let down of state starting another flying lap. Looking to improve on that 110.5 that has got him 7th currently. And he's nearly 4/10 down after Sector 1, so much improved Sector 1 for a letdown of state. DRS wide open in Sector 2.
What can he do here? Let's have a look at his times. Nearly 4/10 up again.
Good. Still looking good.
It's a long old straight down this back here. Your straight line speed will be critical at that point, but you need the downforce to make sure you don't hit that wall of champions and manage sector 1.
It looks like he's taking it well there. And he has improved. Up to 5th.
1:10.0, I think I'll be happy with that.
Just a solid lap from a letdown of state.
Just Mikey is 2/10 down from his time that he'd set on the soft tyres as he's trying to improve on these mediums.
Yeah, it was always going to be difficult to improve.
I mean, all he has to do is just beat it by even 1,000th of a second, so that is his race start tyre. But he comes into the pits.
He's coming into the pits.
Maybe it was just a strategy play to see how his car will handle these mediums in this weather. Maybe it's similar weather in the race. Ooh, Strident was around there.
Strident has just gone a little bit deep into a turn 8 there and pulled over to let, I believe it was Bannister, past.
He's on an out lap, so he might still be
able to... Yeah, we've got a couple in the 3rd sector about to start their next round of flying laps.
Ooh, and Strident's invalidated his lap before he's even started it, unfortunately. Yeah. He won't be happy with that.
It'll be close if he can get back, whether he's got the fuel to just go around and set another lap.
Yeah, he won't be able to come in and go out again. He'll have to have had the fuel on.
They'll have to try it.
He's going for it, so whether he's just give up and he's coming into the pits, but he's going. Sega was deep there as well. I missed what happened there. CHM on a flying lap. Mikey's come out for...
And Dastardly is just a purple Sector 2 on his lap.
Ooh.
We ride on board with him coming down the final straight. All about this final chicane, gotta get it inch perfect. If you want to set your best time. And he's kept it on the track. See what the time is.
Ooh, just
and
missed out.
Stays second fastest.
Yeah. It's still a nice place to be if he can keep hold of it, but Mikey is just about to start his flying lap.
Just looking ahead to Strident, is a couple of tenths down after Sector 1. So he'll be looking to make a move to the front row. He can keep it up on this lap.
Mikey will be desperate to improve his time and get in front of his closest rival, Dastardly. And at the minute, Mikey does have enough in the bank to jump in front of Dastardly, and Dastardly is there on track. Did Dastardly impede Mikey there? I think he'd have a fresh pair of trousers waiting for him in the pits. And he's bailed. He's bailed. Such a shame. I wonder what happened there.
Strident is going for another flying lap.
I can see he was 1/10 up or down. Up.
Yeah, 1/10 improved after the first sector. Come around for the fast chicane at the end of Sector 2. And a purple Sector 2.
4/10 up. 4/10 up will put him into second place currently.
See if he can finish this lap off and get himself on the front row. We've seen already this final chicane.
Oh, I think he's run out of fuel.
And he might have run out of fuel.
Oh no.
But we saw that it was his second flying lap.
Old Dad's is invalidated. Sega to Cos and CHM. CHM is invalidated, so Sega to Cos is the only one who has the opportunity to improve his lap. But looking at the time, it's not
going to improve.
Yeah.
And he's pulling into the pits.
So there we have it.
Steve-O on pole with a 109.273. Very impressive lap from him.
5/10 quicker than Dastardly in second place.
Yeah.
Mikey
just a shaving
behind. He does. He does.
He's gotten a win this season. One of our 8 different race winners. He won at the Netherlands. And he'll be in good position to win this race from pole position. And just looking more at the championship battle, Dastardly will be happy that he was able to beat out Mikey for a front row spot. Not much between them.
No, I believe Mikey is 30 points in front of Dastardly for the Drivers' Championship. So even a race win for Dastardly won't earn him that top step just yet, but all the points will count as we are the 9th race into our 22 race season.
Yeah, still a long way to go.
Just wait for the cars to go round as this part of qualifying. It always just seems to drag on as the AIs take control of the cars. And So that is the Canadian Grand Prix qualifying session. As Matt said, we have in first place Steve-O. In second is Dastardly. Third is Just Mikey. Fourth is Strident C. Fifth is A Letdown of State. Sixth is Bannister. Seventh is Old Dad Rules. Eighth is Sega to Cuz. Ninth is CHM. 10th is Mike Whiteside. And with qualifying bands, we have Ted in 11th and Prev in 12th.
Yeah, it's an interesting qualifying session, that one. Steve-O so far ahead of the rest of the field, but then that battle for that second spot was so close between Dastardly and Mikey.
It was, and I think if Strident had more fuel in the tank, he would have been able to improve that lap.
Yeah, he would have been right there with him.
Right, we're having reports of dry cloudy, but that's looking pretty dark cloud up there on our screens. So the wonderful thing about this game is when you're looking at the weather report from qualifying, it can tell you the race weather, but just as in real life, you can't tell the weather in 2 hours sometimes with the weatherman, let alone 24 hours ahead. So it sometimes changes as you go through your
dynamic
race.
Weather. It can say it's going to be cloudy, and then halfway through the race, the clouds start dropping rain on the track. You just never know.
We had rain here on Wednesday in the AL1 race. It was a full wet start, wasn't it?
It was dried up right at the end, but
yeah. So Matt was having a look through for some Canadian stats for us.
Yeah, as we come here for round 9, season 15 of the AL2 Wheel2Wheel Racing season. We're in Montreal, which is the largest city in the Quebec province in Canada. And it hosted the Summer Olympics in 1976. And it's got a population of over 4 million people, so a very big city that we're in. In Canada, got 9.98 million square miles of land. It's the second largest country in the world.
And a lot of maple syrup.
A lot of maple syrup.
I mean, you're from America, aren't you, Matt? So have you ever been to Canada?
No, I have not.
No.
A lot of people think of Canada because so much of their population is right on the American border. Think of it as being very similar, but here in Quebec, it's got more in common with France than America. So we're here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and it's been a part of F1's history since 1978 when it hosted its first race, won by Gilles Villeneuve. The track was then renamed after him. And it's got a capacity of 100,000 people, so
wow.
The virtual crowd will be jam-packed in here on this island circuit. And the track records set in 2019 for the overall qualifying record, Sebastian Vettel with Ferrari set a 110.24, and then the race record was set by Valtteri Bottas in that 2019 race. He had a 1 minute 13.078. So it's a short lap compared to most on the F1 calendar, but a lot of heavy braking zones, a lot of chances for overtaking, and it usually produces a very entertaining race. So we're excited about this one.
And of course, the Wall of Champions.
Yes, a very tight track with walls just inches away from the racing line at times. One mistake can really put you out quick. And the tires used at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve for the Canadian Grand Prix are the softest in the Pirelli range for Formula One. And the soft tires, probably say they'll go a max of 25 laps. The mediums will go 38 laps. And the hards will go 48. But for race pace, the ideal lap range for each of those tires, the softs, is about 20 laps. But of course, at the start of the race, for those starting on the soft tires, we'll have to use the tires that they use in qualifying, so they won't be fresh. So we'll see how long they can go on those soft tires in the first stint. But the medium tires look to be good for around 30 laps this race, and the hard tires right around 40 laps. So a one-stop is possible if you can start on the mediums, go on to the hards. It's a 70-lap race, but we're likely to see a lot of two-stops and possibly some three-stops today.
And of course, safety cars can change that. You know, if your strategy isn't going to work because you're all queued behind a safety car about 10 laps before you're due to stop, that could change your race quite dramatically. I didn't spot too well, but I think there was only one car on medium tyres, if memory serves me correctly. I think nearly everybody was on the softs.
Yeah, and we'll see the two drivers who had quali bans. They'll have a free choice of tire.
Yes.
And it was Ted and Prev will be starting at the back with a free choice of tire.
So as our steward on track has just started the 30-second countdown, I can tell you the history of Wheel to Wheel. Last season, in the Canadian Grand Prix, it was won by Russ. The quali was won by Russlad with a 1:08.9, but Russlad was first, Riker was second, Pezzarino was third, all of which have gone up to AL1. But fourth place was held by Dastardly. So he looks to have a strong chance here. And I think he said he likes the Canadian Grand Prix.
Yeah, talking to him before the race, he's done very well here. He's got a win in his past. He's a very experienced driver, been with Wheel to Wheel for a very long time. But yeah, he thinks that he can do well here. And just regarding the championship battle, he was talking about how this game is very track dependent on pace. So between him and Mikey at the top of the championship, there's some tracks where he feels very confident and that he's got the pace on Mikey, but some tracks where it's just the opposite. So there's not really a consistent fastest driver in this league, which makes it very, very entertaining.
Yeah, it's good the fact that we've had 8 races and 8 different race leaders, race winners. So
Yeah.
will we have our 9th round with a 9th winner? So what was it? Was it a Letdown Estate, CHM and Bannister who have yet to earn a race win?
Yes, of those that have been around for most of the season at least, or the entirety of the season. They have yet to win, but this track can produce some crazy results, so anything is possible.
So we've got
Cars
everybody
come
just
back to their grid positions.
So we're about to go on to 70 laps of the Canadian Grand Prix.
5 lights are on. And it's lights out, and away we go here in Montreal.
Steve-O with a good...
State gets a good getaway. Steve-O keeps the lead into turn 1.
Change our detail there to positions change. Bannister's gained 2 positions. Prev has gained 4th from his qualifying ban start. And as usual, my graphic is now going a bit bonkers, so we just have to see what we can see on the screen.
Mine was incorrect at the start, but as we see now, it is Steve-O leading and already over a 1 second gap to Dastardly in second. and Strident putting pressure on him, just 3/10 behind. And then Mikey, the championship leader, in 4th.
Old
He's
Dad
feeling the
Rolls
pressure from
just got
Bannister
past
behind.
a letdown of State, and a letdown of State switches it back. He was having trouble at the start there, and
They're side by side coming out of the hairpin, and he's got the move done.
a letdown of State now, a threat from Sega to Cos coming up on his inside as we come to the final chicane. And Sega to Cos makes it past also. A letdown of State is not having a great start to this Grand Prix. Old Dad Rules was having a little look on the inside of Bannister there, but Bannister closed him off. Old Dad Rules is having a great start to this Grand Prix.
He is putting the pressure on Bannister here. No DRS yet, which will give Bannister the opportunity to keep that 5th position and try to build a gap before DRS gets enabled by the stewards next lap.
Letdown Estate is bringing the fight back to Sega to Cos. He's having a look up on the inside for the hairpin. He's unable to get that move done, but he's got his overtake on. Seeing if he can get closer to Sega to Cos as we come down to the final chicane.
And Strident has gotten a 3-second time penalty, our first of the day.
There was a move there looking to be done by Old Dad Rules, but I think he ran out of track. Ended up coming across the corner of the final chicane. A letdown Estate still trying to have a go past Sega to Cos. Old Dad Rules has really got an advantage over Bannister here, as he will have DRS this time, but Bannister seems to be dropping down. Whether he's got damage from the start or whether his setup is different to everybody else is causing that 3-second gap now to just Mikey.
Yeah, he's dropping back and we'll be feeling the pressure from Old Dad's Rule as they come through the detection zone. Old Dad's Rule will get DRS here on this very long back straight.
Well, Old Dad needs to get past, because this is just causing a bottleneck where all the other cars are going to be catching up and applying pressure.
And he goes round the outside. And he's got that done very easily.
Well before the braking
Comfortably
zone.
ahead going into the final chicane.
And we have a yellow flag. We have
Somebody's
Prev.
gone off.
Prev looks like he was in the Wall of Champions, but somehow managed to survive, although maybe that was a bit of a spin more than into the Wall of Champions. Old Dad's already a second in front of Bannister. He's really trying to get that getaway. Sega to Cos is now catching with a letdown Estate very close behind.
Mikey closing the gap on Strident, try to get 3rd place.
Yeah, as you say, he will have DRS coming down this final straight, or penultimate straight. He's got his overtake on. His DRS is now open. Has he got the straight line speed? Strident C seems to have quite a lot of straight line
Doesn't
speed.
seem to be closing the gap. That is... wow. Strident with impressive straight line speed there with no DRS. He's able to hold him off comfortably.
As Ted makes it past CHM. Oh, but there's a little bit of pushing now. There's both of them cut the corners. Just Mikey is very close to the back of Strident C now. I think Mikey has more downforce than Strident, so he's going to be quicker in sector 1 and 2. So that's where he's needing to try and...
the DRS zone. He's struggling to close the gap in a straight line, but as soon as they get going through the corners, he's right on his tail.
He's
very close now as they come into the hairpin. You have to think if he gets a good exit, he should be able to get the move done this lap.
Strident has got his overtake button on, so has Mikey. Mikey
DRS
closer
open for
this
Mikey
time.
once again. He's in the slipstream. Makes a move to the inside, but he bails out of it.
Clever move.
It would have been bold to try to leave his car down the inside there. He's thought better of it. Played it safe. And Strident keeps third position.
Bannister's caught back up with the back of old dad's.
Yeah, he seemed to settle in. He was struggling there for the first couple of laps, but seemed to be getting his pace back. As Strident gets another 3-second time penalty, it's already his second. This is a track where penalties can accumulate very quickly.
And they have. To get 2 penalties by now, you had to have had a warning each lap. Only on lap 6.
We're looking at a letdown of state behind Segatars. And he can't get the move done.
Oh, and I can see just Mikey has made it past Strident C's. Now, Mikey made it past after the DRS detection point, so Mikey has also got DRS now to get away from Strident.
We're riding on board with a letdown of state as he's right with Sega with DRS, and he's moving in front of him on the long straightaway. Nothing Sega can do about that. And a letdown of state moves up into 7th.
Of course, the final start-finish straight DRS is from the same activation point from earlier, so a letdown of state also had DRS to run further away from him then. As Prev makes it past Mike Whiteside. So as we start lap 7, we've got Steve-O in first place, Dastardly in second. Within DRS we have just Mikey and Strident, both with DRS, within the DRS range there. A 4-second gap then down to Old Dad's Rules, which has got Bannister close on his tail, chasing him down. Then 3 seconds behind the letdown of state, with Sega to Cars also trying to reclaim that position. And then Ted, CHM, Prev and Michael Whiteside.
And Mikey has gotten within DRS range of Dastardly, his championship rival. He's not close enough to look at a move this lap, but getting in that DRS range will be helpful. He'll try to close the gap.
That was a crucial overtake for Mikey there to get past Strident because he was holding him up.
Yeah, and now he'll be able to get at his championship rival.
Exactly. He's got past him. He's got well over a second away from Strident. Now he's in the bendy sections. He'll be able to get further away as he's got more downforce. And be able to chase down his championship rival. As Ted pits for a new wing.
Mikey's closed the gap significantly on this lap.
But
about
is it going to be
3/10 as they go into the hairpin? He'll have DRS on the long straightaway.
Mikey's got his overtake button on. Dastardly's still got some in reserve.
He looks like he's closing fast. Pulls over to the inside. Side by side through the final chicane. And Mikey's able to get the move done. What a move that was.
Very clean for both drivers there. Very good racing respect and racing awareness to know where the other car is and what moves they can and can't do.
Yeah, it's top driving from both drivers. But Dastardly won't want to see his championship rival overtaking him like that.
No, not at a track which is one of Dastardly's strongest tracks.
You see Bannister within DRS range of Old Dad's Rule. He'll have DRS in Sector 2. DRS zone.
Strident with another penalty. Now, was Dastardly within DRS range at the detection point? He wasn't, but Strident was, and we know Strident has got some phenomenal straight line speed, so he is going to be attacking Dastardly now. Or not.
Well, at this rate, if Strident keeps getting penalties, it really doesn't matter what he does if he keeps accumulating them.
Mikey's in.
Yeah. Mikey has pit.
Would you say that this was a strong strategy, pitting lap 10?
Well, Bannister looking at the inside on turn 1. Bannister has got the move done on Old Dad's Road. And it is interesting from Mikey, to say the least, pitting so early.
Yeah, he got in front of his championship rival, then straight into the pits.
And he didn't look like he had damage, he had strong pace.
He went softs to softs as well.
An interesting one.
Unless we've got another dynamic weather situation where they know more than we do at the moment.
And Strident has got himself 6/10 behind Dastardly, coming into the long straightaway in DRS zone. Too far behind to have a go at this moment.
He gained a lot on that chicane there. He's right behind the gearbox of Dastardly now as he's getting closer.
Goes for a move into turn 1, and he dives down the inside.
I didn't think there was a gap there until he made it.
He's fighting back, and they're side by side as they go into the first chicane.
And
Dastardly looks to be in front. Great defensive driving from Dastardly there.
I didn't think there was a move in there, but Strident seemed to make it happen.
He went for it, and credit to Dastardly. I don't think he would have been expecting him to go down the inside on turn 1, but he did, and he left him just enough room. But Strident remains right on his gearbox as they come through the DRS detection zone before the long straightaway. And can he get the move done on this lap?
He looks to be about as far away as he was last lap.
Has a little look, but too far away to go forward into the chicane. And he's got another penalty.
Is it 4 now? Must be.
It is 4 is what I have.
That's a warning every lap. And he goes very deep.
Wide. Very wide in turn 1. And Dastardly will have a little exhale as he has a 1.4 second gap after that mistake from Strident.
And Mikey's tyres working well for him as he sets the fastest lap. But currently down in 7th place. 4.5 seconds behind a letdown of state, who is on the back of a train behind Old Dad's for 4th place.
And Bannister looking to have a go at Old Dad's here in the DRS zone. Old Dad's looks to have very good straight line speed there. Bannister not really able to close the gap much, but he gets a good exit. He'll be right on his gearbox coming into the hairpin. It's all about getting a good exit here.
Yeah,
he'll have DRS, he's got overtake on. Can he get past? He's got a big gap now. Not
looks
the best
almost
exit for Bannister there.
He's more at threat from a letdown of state from behind him.
He is in the Ferrari as a look at the inside, but he doesn't go for it. That's a great battle here for 4th.
Oh, and a letdown of state was having a look down the
inside.
With all this battling is just gaining in Mikey's advantage, where he can just get closer.
It is. Big advantage for Mikey because he'll want to get past as soon as possible as Mike Whiteside gets a 3-second penalty.
So yeah, for any of the viewers that don't know the wheel-to-wheel rules as Dastardly picks up a penalty
Dastardly
for 3
gets his
seconds.
first penalty.
And Sega to Cos. I'm sure I've seen Sega to Cos earlier too. After your 4th exceeding track limit penalty, every penalty after that, you are demoted a place in the final standings of the race. So where Strident C is currently, if he earns himself one more penalty, he will be dropping automatically at the end of the race by 1 place.
And we're riding on board with Mikey as he's closed the gap to a letdown estate. It's within a second already. It was over 2 seconds at the start of the last lap.
It was, but now he's got this traffic to get
on
through.
those first tires.
And we know he's
see
got
if he can cut through cleanly without losing too much time.
or wing.
Mike Whiteside gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. It is a tricky pit lane entry, this one.
Mikey gets the job done on a letdown estate and the first DRS zone. Bannister has made it past.
Going side to side. Side by side through the hairpin.
Now, how is this going to impede Mikey's race? Because these two are battling in front, and Mikey's just want to get
And Old Dad's Rule will have DRS on Bannister. Looking to peg him back, and he's in front going into the final chicane.
Oh, and Mikey with a great exit out the chicane. He's already side by side with Bannister. And he's well in front before the braking zone. Strident C in the pits. I've seen he got a 5-second speeding in the pit penalty, which doesn't count towards the demotion.
Mikey will have, after this overtake, assuming he gets it done, will have clear air ahead.
Yeah, he'll be
chase down his championship rival again. He looks down the inside. Can he get the move done?
No, he backs out. He backs out. A little bit of contact there. And he gets the job done, but I think he overtook him before the DRS activation zone.
Yeah,
meaning Old
like
Dads would have DRS. Oh no, Mikey's got DRS.
Yeah, and he got a great exit out of the hairpin, so we'll have a comfortable gap going into the final chicane.
Got a letdown estate making his way past Old. Oh,
Bannister and a letdown estate were going side by side, but letdown estate pulls into the pits.
Dastardly's in the pit, which means Mikey gets net second for now.
And they are on different tires, so different strategies for the two championship battlers.
Very interesting strategy from Mikey. Dastardly has gone on to the medium tyres, so he will be going for a long stint now.
And Old Dad's Rule has come out just behind Sega. He's on fresh tires. Sega on 4-lap old mediums. And I'll have DRS in Sector 2 here. Strident gets yet another penalty.
Oh, that means he will be demoted 1 place at the end of the race.
And we've seen another speeding in the pit lane penalty. This time from Steve-O.
Yes.
Our leader. And that could be a big one.
So Mikey is just coming down the start-finish straight as Steve-O's coming out of the pits now. And Mikey makes it into the race lead. Now Mikey's tyres will probably go off a lot sooner than Steve-O's tyres, so Mikey's got the lead now. We might be able to pull away with the softer compound on for a little while until they start to go off, where then Steve-O would have the advantage.
Yeah, he's got to extend the gap,
Yeah.
or else as soon as his tires start falling off, he'll get overtaken very easily, as those mediums have a much longer lifespan.
Yeah, with the pace that Steve-O's got as well, I don't think it'd be long, and I think Mikey would be more clever to let Steve-O through and not let him cost him too much time battling him.
Yeah, and Steve-O having DRS here, he's got overtake on, closing the gap very quickly down this straightaway. Goes down the inside into the final chicane. A great move from Steve-O as he retakes the lead.
Yeah, I think Mikey was clever to not push him too hard there so that it doesn't impede his own race too much, because although Mikey will want the race win, he wants to finish in front of Dastardly, and that's where his battle is right now.
Yeah. Smart driving for Mikey. Not lose too much time, not fight it too much. Steve-O's pace here looks to be unmatched so far, qualifying in the race. And Old Dad's Rule is still right behind Sega. He has been for a couple of laps now.
Yeah, fresher tyres doesn't always mean that you can get the overtake done, because I think having the difference in downforce sometimes can make it very difficult to pass somebody on this track.
Yep. And if Old Dad's can get a good exit out of this hairpin, he's very close to Sega.
Got Bannister right on the back of the letdown estate, just behind also. And Steve-O sets the fastest lap on the medium tyres.
And Old Dad's goes down the inside into the final chicane, and oh, he goes wide, a little touch on the wall.
I think Sega lost a little bit of traction on the back end there as well as they came round and oversteered.
And in the end, Old Dad's gets the move done. We look just behind them, Bannister right on the back of a letdown estate.
He is right on the back letdown of the state.
And he looks to have a go at the inside, but the move's not there. We'll see if he can get him on the DRS straight.
Got a great exit there. Great, he's not using his overtake.
Now side by side, and Bannister gets in front. What a move.
Very tight race in there, but a letdown estate will now have DRS on the next straight because of that overtake.
And he looks to go down the inside on the hairpin. And he really had to back out of that one, and he's lost a lot of time on the exit.
I think a letdown has probably thought that was a bit close. I'll let him have the position back, and I'll take it next time.
Yeah. And he's looking to have a go into turn one, but just ran out of straightaway there. And Bannister keeps 7th for the time being.
So we still have all 12 drivers in the race, which is good when we're coming up to lap 20. Still a long way in this race, still anything could happen. And letdown estate will have DRS again this time. Bannister's closing to the back of Sega to Cos.
Trident with yet another time penalty that brings him up to 6.
Yes.
Track limit penalties, I believe.
Yes, so that will drop him down 2 places once he finishes. So if the race was to finish as it is, he would be into 6th place. So it's always key to never giving up, because you could be 30 seconds from the car in front, but actually you're going to gain an advantage from, first of all, their time penalties, and then second of all, their demoted places from the wheel-to-wheel rules. Let Down Estate struggling to keep on the back of Bannister, as he does have DRS this time, but Bannister is closer by 7/10 to the back of Sega Takaz now.
Yeah, and he'll have DRS himself here. They come around the hairpin, see if he can get the move done on fresher tires.
Sega Takaz is already on his overtake button to defend against Bannister. Sega had a really good exit there, but Bannister is closing that gap.
Oh, and a little loose exit there from Sega. And Bannister looks to take advantage, switching to the inside. Wheel to wheel into turn 1.
And a Let Down Estate looked like he was going to have a go on there, and that mistake from Sega.
Yeah, just a mistake on the exit of the final corner from Sega allowed Bannister the opportunity to get the move done into turn 1.
So that will give a Let Down Estate the opportunity to gain a position on Sega, as Sega seems to be suffering after that overtake.
We'll see if Bannister can pull away and get Sega out of DRS range, because that will help a Let Down Estate.
He already is. He's already out of the DRS range, so a Let Down Estate
zone.
Likes to have a look down the inside on that hairpin.
Sega on the overtake button early. He knows he'll face a threat from a Let Down Estate going into the chicane.
Great exit there from Sega. I'm seeing lots of penalties coming up, and Sega didn't take that chicane as well as a Let Down Estate did, and a Let Down Estate is gaining towards turn 1. But he's unable to get the move done. Sega dropped now 1.4 seconds behind Bannister, so Bannister is getting away whilst he can, as he's going to be now chasing down Old Dad's. Mikey now on 13 lap old soft tyres, as the gap between him and Steve-O is 6.5 seconds. Dastardly is just under 4 seconds behind.
And it'll be interesting to see over the coming laps as those soft tires start to fade. Dastardly's mediums will be in great condition, and he'll likely close the gap here in a few laps. Keep an eye on that battle.
A Letdown's gaining on Sega. A Letdown seems to be struggling to get as good an exit on that hairpin as Sega does. So how long are we saying that the soft tyres should last around Canada?
I believe it was around 20 laps is their ideal window. They can last a maximum of 25 laps according to Pirelli, but around lap 20 is when they start falling off.
Because Mikey pitted at the start of the race on lap 9, I believe it was, to exchange some soft tyres, and he's got
14 lap old tyres at the moment as a Letdown of State goes down the inside on the hairpin. And he's got overtake and DRS, so he should be getting ahead of Sega going into the final chicane.
Oh, and Sega gets a warning there, and I've just seen Dastardly is disconnected from the session.
What could that mean for the championship fight?
Not good news for Dastardly. Now, another one of the rules at Wheel to Wheel is if you are disconnected from the session, you will be required to hopefully rejoin and retire your car into the pit so we don't have a solid car out on track.
Very unlucky for Dastardly, because at the least it looked like he was going to be on the podium, and with the different strategy he looked to be taking the fight to Mikey as well. Would have been interesting to see how that played out toward the end of the race.
Yeah, I would have put good money on him to be on at least the second or third step of the podium today.
Well, as we look down to Ted, he was looking to have a move on Prev. He had DRS, but he's made a mistake on the exit of the hairpin and gone into the wall.
Oh no.
Big mistake for Ted. And he doesn't have an end plate on the left side of his wing. Damage there, and he pulls into the pits. Unlucky for Ted.
17 lap holes, I think he was due for a pit, but he wouldn't have wanted the extra 8 seconds to change the wing.
Yeah, and they are changing that front wing, so damage for Ted there after hitting the wall.
So sad to see that gap now that Dastardly's car, obviously, which he's not in, is just slowly getting bigger. So just Mikey now looking to only have Steve-O to contend with for this race. His old dad picks up another penalty.
And after a crazy first 20-odd laps there, the pack seemed to have settled into an order here with bigger gaps in between cars. Nobody except Bannister than DRS range of anybody else. But Bannister will be looking to have a move on Old Dads as Old Dads goes to cover the inside.
And Old Dad takes it around the outside.
Around the outside! Santa Maria, what a move from Bannister.
I don't know what Old Dad's was doing there. It looked like he was struggling a bit, but Old Dad's is going to have DRS to fight back at him now as we come down the final sector.
He's got overtake if he wants it.
Old Dad's got a lot of overtake, but he's not using it.
He hasn't used it. And he pulls into the pits.
Has he got damage?
And you wonder if he had damage. We'll see if he changes that front wing.
Yes, they are. He's got no end plate on the left, and he's got a time penalty. So he's got to wait there for 5 seconds whilst the engineers are not allowed to work on the car. And he's going on to a set of soft tyres.
We see Strident has closed the gap to Dastardly's car, which, as we said, he's not in his car. So the AI will be slower. Strident just has to be careful he gets the move done cleanly here as he goes down the inside at the hairpin.
Dastardly has just joined, so hopefully he will be able to get into his car and remove it from track. Because it could cause incidents, it could give somebody else an unfair advantage. So Strident has now got DRS where he wouldn't have normally, but he's probably also been held up by Dastardly's car for a while.
Yeah, and it's good to see Strident getting past without any incidents. You never want any AI car making a difference on the race.
No. In fact,
hopefully Dastardly, as you said, can pull into the pits this lap.
He's not back in his car yet, still got an X on, but that message to say he's joined, it's probably him joining the lobby. He's got to get into the session and then into his car.
It'll be interesting to see which tire Mikey goes for here in this next pit stop, because you would think with those soft tires, as Ted gets another time penalty there, the soft tires not going to last too much longer for Mikey.
No.
But with 40 laps left, do you go onto the medium tire, which likely won't get you to the end? So he could go medium and then put on a pair of softs at the end. He could put on another pair of softs and then change to mediums for the end of the race.
He did use a few pairs of softs at the start during quali, so he might have to go medium now. As Dastardly's pulled into the pits and retired.
Yeah, he has. Unlucky for Dastardly.
Hopefully his car will now just pull off and disappear as Prev comes into the pits.
And Mikey has put on mediums. So our championship leader, currently in 4th place after that pit stop, on fresh medium tires.
Yeah, he's behind Bannister.
Should get him about 30 laps comfortably with good pace before they start falling off.
Mikey's using his overtake to try and close that gap a little bit to Bannister. He won't be able to get the job done this lap, but he's certainly going to be applying the pressure this next lap.
Mikey gets a 3-second penalty.
Mikey very close to the back of Bannister now, and we know Mikey's got the extra downforce, so he will be very close to the back of him even more.
I'm just looking at a battle between Prev and Ted. Ted is right on the back of him down the long straightaway with DRS, but too far back to go for a move into the chicane. But he's able to get the move done going into turn 1. Ted into 9th.
Mikey now coming to the penultimate straight, where he will have DRS this time on Bannister. Mikey's got a lot of overtake, just as much as Bannister has. And he's flying down the outside already.
Yeah, comfortable that one for Mikey.
Ted with another penalty. Now, Mikey is 4 seconds behind Strident, but we already know that Strident has at least 2 positions to drop. So Mikey already net in front of him, and Steve-O picks up a penalty. It just goes to show...
Steve-O's first, so not too much to worry about for Steve-O there.
No, I think Mikey only has 1 also. Mikey's really good on penalties. Old Dad says the fastest there. Lap. Got Mike off the track. He's having some big issues here, Mike Whiteside. Not really sure what's going on with Mike there. He's got a lot of wing damage, but I think he was trying to get out of people's way. And maybe got too close to the wall, and I can see some cars close together there. We've got CHM, Ted and Prev.
As Ted got past Prev into 9th, he's now right on the back of the 8th place car, which is CHM in the Renault.
And Prev has got no overtake. Mind you, none of these cars have got very much overtake left in the tank.
Yeah, all below 20%. We'll see who gets the best exit out of this hairpin.
Ted took a very wide line there, but I think that might give him better traction coming out for this long straight where he's got overtake and DRS on CHM. CHM has got some good straight line speed to defend it well, but Ted gets the job done. Which now leaves Prev.
CHM will be in trouble as Prev has DRS down the main straight, looks to have a go at the inside, but backs out of it, and CHM keeps ninth. CHM on much older tires than either of the two cars around him. The Prev on 3-lap-old mediums as opposed to CHM on 22-lap-old mediums. He should be getting the move done here, you would have to think, on much fresher tires.
Was we saying 35 laps for the mediums?
The maximum that Pirelli say. Oh, and Prev is off.
Prev got his nose in, but CHM closed the door. Lucky to carry not much damage from that, not that I can see anyway. No, he looks to still have both end plates, whether there might be a little bit of yellow damage to it, but I think he was brave to have his nose in there.
Yeah, just going back to the medium tire, Pirelli say they can last 38 laps, but if you go more than 30 laps, that's when the pace seems to drop off very quickly once you get over that 30 lap mark.
Ted with another penalty there. We've only got old dads on the soft tyre, everybody else on the mediums. Looking to be a variety of strategies here. Yellow flag in Sector 1. We've got Strident C.
Strident is facing the wall as Mikey, Bannister, and the letdown of State all go through. A big mistake from Strident there.
Has he got much damage? He looks to have both end plates, so he might just have a bit of damage on his front wing. I reckon that was loss of traction at the back there.
Oh, and he's gone again!
He needs to get out of the way before Sega to Cos comes around the corner. And he manages to get out of the way.
He does just get off the racing line.
Them tyres are going to be cooking now.
Yeah, it can be so difficult after you've spun. You want to get back on the track, get back in the groove, but you've got to be so careful as he's loose again and into the wall.
Oh no, that was not good.
And that's 3 mistakes on this lap from Strident. He was in 2nd place. And he's down to 7th. That's how fast things can change here in Canada. This track is not forgiving at all.
No. But this is not what he's going to want, because he's already got a ruck of actual time penalties. But once them time penalties have been applied, he's then got demotions to be thinking about, so he doesn't want to be sat in 7th.
No,
he's going to be
not a good turn of events for Strident.
So he's going to have to get fresh tyres now. We were saying that the mediums could last 35 laps. He could take a set of mediums now to the end.
He could. And maybe hope for a safety car to get him back close to the pack.
It looks like he's putting on some softs.
It's an interesting call for that. As we were saying, you just got to be so careful. After you make a mistake, have a spin off the track. Tire temperatures are through the roof, and it takes a good half a lap at least, normally, to get the tires back into normal operating temperature.
Yeah.
So you got to be so careful, or you can just slide around, as we saw Strident do there. When your tires are that hot, your car just has no grip.
Yeah.
And he was a victim of that. And it looks to have maybe cost him his race, unfortunately.
Well, he does have some pace. He was up in the top 3 quite early on, and I think he's probably got it in him to climb a few positions back. As he's looking up the side of Prev.
He does have good pace, but it's just a question of how many positions can he make up, and then how many positions will he be dropped by his penalties.
Yeah.
So we'll see how much he can save in terms of positions as he looks to have a go at Prev. Down the main straightaway, pulls it to the inside.
Very tight on the inside, but he gets the job done. But with only one retired car and 11 cars on track, Astride gets another penalty, and Prev gets a penalty. I'm sure someone got fastest lap there then, but it just got kicked off my screen too quick. Yes, we've got all positions bar one earning points at the minute. So it's worth hanging on to that last lap just to see what will happen. As Sega pits for some mediums, which he could, as we say, we could probably take them to the end. Or we could look at taking them deep into the race and then going for fastest lap with a set of softs if he has a fresh pair in the pits.
And Steve-O with a big gap out in front. He'll likely be pitting one more time. Looks like his mediums go somewhere around 8 to 10 more laps before he'll go for a change, and from there it should be a comfortable win as long as he avoids mistakes. Steve-O's pace really unmatched today.
It is. Mikey 24 seconds behind on fresher tyres. But how long's a pit stop here? It's got to be in the region of 19, 20 seconds, hasn't it?
Yeah, it is one of the shorter pit stops in terms of time lost, as you really, on the exit, get to cut turn 1 and go right into turn 2.
And
so
you avoid the last
chicane. Lot of
chicane.
time lost. Yeah.
So
Steve-O looks to be comfortable out there in front.
Well, he's a pit stop away, isn't he? So he's got a free stop now, should he choose to take it.
Striding gets another penalty, and
I mean, no disrespect to Striding,
7 or 8.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if he's not disqualified before the end of the race.
Yeah, still 30 laps to go.
So I think you can get 12.
Yeah, he is on pace for that.
Yeah,
at the moment.
Well, he was getting one every 3 laps at the start of the race.
Yeah, and it is unfortunate, as he was in a good position on the track, in second place before that really disaster of a lap for him. Really hate to see it, and now he's just trying to recover as many points as he can. He might be pushing really hard, forcing him into more penalties, as he's gotten a couple these last 3 laps since he went on the softs.
So who was second in the constructors battle? Because with Dastardly dropping out, was it Ferrari second in the constructors?
It was. Ferrari were second.
So this
and
is
they
going
were
to be
27 points behind Renault, and well, after Dastardly dropping out, looks like Renault will extend their gap at the top of the table.
Yeah, be a big hit for Ferrari, but a letdown estate currently in 4th, looking to be strong to carry some points, being the only car left for Ferrari.
Yeah, it's a good drive so far from a letdown of state. We were talking to his teammate Dastardly before the race, and really the hope for them was just that he can take on the battle with Mikey, and then if a letdown of state can finish ahead of CHM, which he is doing comfortably at the moment, then they'd be able to close the gap in the constructor standings. Just really unlucky for Ferrari that Dastardly disconnected, because they would have made up some points having 2 cars toward the front here.
Yes. Sega with a 3-second time penalty. And I had a message from Dastardly. He got a CP7 code, meaning he was disconnected from the server, unfortunately. But thankfully he was able to get back in and take his car off track, because that does cause problems sometimes, as we said.
So we look at the battle for 9th as Prev has gotten right behind CHM. CHM on 30 lap old medium tires. Prev only 11 lap old medium tires, so
now we
have a
had
big advantage in grip.
Well, we had this battle earlier, didn't we? And this same corner where Prev got his nose in.
Yeah. And he looks to be through cleanly there.
But
THM.
He's not letting off lightly, is he?
No, he's not.
As Old Dad's pits puts on some mediums.
And as you say, the battle sort of deja vu almost into that corner as Prev came off worse the first time, but was able to close again and get the job done this time.
Old Dad's comes out right behind Ted.
Yeah, and he'll look to get that move done quick on fresh mediums.
And it looks like... Is that Steve-O in front of Ted?
It is. So, not for position there. Steve-O a lap ahead of the 6th and 7th place cars.
Old Dad's with a full tank of overtake. Or a full charge of overtake, should I say.
Ted just around 29% as they come out of the hairpin, and some grass flying up there.
Old Dad's really closing that gap.
Really impressive straight line speed as he goes down the inside. Gets the move done in the last chicane.
I don't think Ted knew where to go then. I think Old Dad's caught him at a phenomenal rate. Ted wasn't expecting to be overtaken on that chicane.
Yeah, there was a massive gap as they came out of the hairpin. But
Steve-O
as you
is
said,
in the pits.
As you said, Old Dad's had a lot of overtake, much more than Ted, and I think that may have made the difference for him. As Ted had to stop using overtake halfway down that straightaway.
Steve-O was pitted and he's come out 1.6 seconds in front of Mikey. And Mikey on 14 lap older tyres, probably not able to capitalise on that, but if he can stay within the slipstream and just try and get that little bit closer, Mikey might be able to just hang on for a little while.
Yeah, this will be likely as close as he can possibly get without a safety car. So he's got to try to take advantage of it however he can.
Ooh, I was trying to go as far as I can into this race without saying safety car. I said it before.
Mikey trying to use overtake, but nothing left as he's dropping off already from Steve-O.
CHM just pulling into the pits after 32 laps on some mediums.
Yeah, putting on another set of mediums, it looks like, so those will get him comfortably to the end.
Old Dad's with another penalty. I'm wondering how many Old Dad's has now.
It is at least 3 that I've seen. I may have missed one somewhere, but...
Mikey is still Still within 2 seconds of Steve-O. Steve-O's not managed to run away just yet.
Yeah, he is hanging around. And even if he can't really close the gap close enough to overtake, he can just apply that little bit of pressure that Steve-O hasn't really felt all race. And oh, we've got him.
Yeah, Strident's retired in the pits. So that means anybody who finishes this race now will score at least 1 point.
Yeah, really unlucky for Strident. Just that one lap seemed to really cost him so many positions, a lot of points. And
yeah, well, that and
the penalties on top of that.
Yeah.
So we've got
Mikey has proper dropped off from Steve-O now. Old Dads is in the pit after 3 laps. What's happened there?
You have to think he would have had damage in order to come into the pits.
Yeah, he's repairing damage. And it doesn't look like he's got any other tyres left, so he's gone for a set of hards.
And that won't be the ideal tyre choice at this point in the race, but if those are the only tyres he's got no choice.
Steve-O now with the fastest lap, with a 1:11 on medium tyres. Mike Whiteside coming down the start-finish straight, and he just earns that 10th place off Strident. So now Mike Whiteside will be at least taking 1 point home, if not more, if penalties apply and people drop further down than where he is.
And just looking at the battle for third, you see Bannister with a big gap to Let Down Estate behind, but Let Down Estate had just come into the pits on 3-lap-old mediums, so he looks to be going to the end, not stopping again. Bannister will be stopping here in the next few laps, so we'll just see if Bannister's able to come out comfortably ahead of a Let Down Estate, or if a Let Down Estate can really put the pressure on him.
It depends when he pits, because 24 seconds Bannister's probably got time to get in and out.
Yeah, the more laps he stays out, the more that gap will close, as he's on such old tires.
Yeah.
So it looks as though he might be trying to stretch those mediums so that he can go onto a pair of softs to finish the race. As we approach lap 50.
Yeah, because when Dastardly was in, it was almost dead set on first, second and third, but now it looks like first and second are a dead set. And as you say, the battle for third is open.
Yeah, and just at the beginning of last lap, the gap between Bannister and a Let Down Estate was over 24 seconds, and now it's 22.6, so
yeah.
If Bannister stays out a couple more laps, he might not be safe after a pit stop.
Depends what he goes on to. If he goes into the pits and comes out on the softs, he'll have the adhesion to battle a Let Down Estate.
Yeah, and you'd think either way he went, he'd be on fresh tires and likely be able to get his third place back, but if the gap keeps going down, you just wonder if a Let Down Estate can get in front of him and defend for that third position, maybe.
It looks like Bannister has just let CHM on the lap himself. CHM was close on the back of Bannister for a while. CHM on much
fresher tires.
Yes. The only issue is Bannister's got back up close to CHM quite quick, so I think CHM's getting blue flags.
It is an awkward situation.
It all depends what Bannister wants to go on to now, because, like, if Bannister wants to go on to some softs, it probably would be worth hanging out another lap or two.
And he doesn't pit this lap.
No, and CHM got away quite a bit there as well, so I'm wondering if he let off.
You have to think at this point he's got to be going onto the soft tire to finish the race.
Yeah. Otherwise it doesn't make mathematical sense, because if he was going to mediums, he should have done it before now.
That gap is closing 2 seconds a lap, maybe more, to let down a state in fourth. Let down a state putting in some good laps here. And it might get him in the fight for that last podium position.
Old Dads is not doing well on them hard tyres, as he takes the escape road and now has to surrender his position to CHM. I was looking at his gap between him and Prev, and he's just losing second after second. And oh, he's got damage. He's got damage, so Old Dads will be in the pits again.
It'll be interesting because we said maybe he didn't have any other tires, which is why he went onto the hards, but
yes,
what tires will he go on to?
Wasn't it
or will
only
he stay on hards?
It was only 3-lap old mediums he took off, so he could put them 3-lap old mediums back on, but he retires. He retires in the pits.
It's an interesting situation, that one.
Well, it's a shame there because, I mean, Mike Whiteside is still a lap down from him. So he still had 2 points to pick up easy. And if anybody else had penalties like everyone else did, then he could have been picking up a position through position drops. So that gap now between Bannister and a letdown of state is now 17 seconds. But if in another 3 laps time we have Bannister coming in and putting on the soft tyres, he will come out behind a letdown. But a letdown will be receiving a lot of pressure from behind.
The letdown of state just coming up on some lap traffic here. Mike Whiteside pulls over.
Mike Whiteside might be happy seeing Old Dad's rules retired, which means he will be getting an additional point this race.
And you've got to respect Mike Whiteside as he moves into that 9th place. Whenever you can just stick it out, 100% race, a lot of things can happen, and as maybe he's not had the pace that he wanted this race, but he's been able to grab a couple of points.
Bannister now on that 35 lap mark which we was talking about.
Yeah, he's really stretching him out. As the max recommended amount of laps is 38 for the medium tire, so he's really stretching him right to the end, right to the limit.
I'm trying to look on his tyres, but I can't see much graining or anything.
As he's coming in this lap.
Let's see if we can see the condition of his tyres as he stops.
Here's what we've been waiting for, the soft tires going on for Bannister. As we look at a letdown of state just coming around the final chicane. Oh, and it's going to be so close. As a letdown of state gets in front.
Yeah, looking at the times, I'm not surprised to see a letdown in front. I thought he might have been a bit further ahead than that, to be fair though. But Bannister
As you
already
said, it
taken
is-
2/10 off that time, straight away. Hadn't even
He
finished
will
sector
be
1.
rampant. He will be rampant on those fresh, soft tires.
I mean,
He's shown great pace all race.
we were saying 20 laps on them softs are ideal. And he's got a lot less than 20 laps, so he's going to have grip right to the end of this race.
Yep.
As Mikey pitted last lap as well, it looks like.
And now at this point, well, Steve-O has fastest lap already, does he?
Yes.
Well,
Yellow flag in sector 2 as Prev has retired. What happened to Prev? And we have a safety car.
Full safety car, and that throws a wrench into everything.
Well, what will happen now? Anybody who's got soft tyres left will be wanting to put them on, I believe. As we've already got...
riding on board with Mikey, and you see Prev, his crashed car just in the middle of the road there, on the DRS straight. It's a strange place to have DNF'd.
Ah, well, CHM just got a 5-second warning for a serious collision with Prev. So
Yeah, his car was in an awkward place there.
It looks like that had to have been incident driven to be crashed there, as you say. So Steve-O's already picked up the safety car.
And Steve-O not coming in. And Mikey on much fresher tires.
Yeah, Mikey came in the last lap. It's a question of what a letdown estate will do.
Yeah, as we're riding on board with him as he's going into the pits.
Yes, because he will be behind Bannister as he comes out, but he will have the same tyres, so it will be a fair fight between the two of them.
Yeah, if he stayed out, he would have been on older medium tires, while Bannister on the fresh softs really would have given him some problems. So,
thankfully as well, the Ferrari garage was able to get that done and get him out in front of CHM, who's a lapped car. So, although we have Steve-O first car behind the safety car, we then have the two Williams cars, one AlphaTauri, and they're all lapped cars.
One of the Williams looks to have pulled into the pits, Ted. So that may get him out of the way for Mikey, as Mikey comes into the final chicane.
Yeah, because although this might be an opportunity for Mikey to gain on Steve-O, Mikey's got these lapped cars to contend with. 3 lap cars between first and second.
Yeah. Ted comes out in front of Mikey on track, so...
But Mikey will then have Bannister behind him and the letdown estate behind him.
On soft tires.
On soft tyres.
Yeah, and there's nothing between the likes of Bannister, Mikey, Bannister, and a letdown of State on track. Nothing between them. So that'll be an interesting battle for position.
And penalties will come much more into play, being this much closer at the end of the race.
I'm just looking at the penalty situation. What we know, may have missed a penalty or two here and there, but Mikey has 1, a letdown of State has 1, Steve-O has 1. And Bannister, I'm not sure if he has any. So as we look at the order of cars on the track, we have Steve-O behind the safety car, and then behind him we have Sega, and then Mike Whiteside, and then Ted, all lapped cars there behind Steve-O. And then we have Mikey Bannister, a letdown of state, and then CHM behind him.
Oh no, I see some carbon fibre there.
Safety cars in this lap. And I'm just going to watch the battle for third on this restart.
Or is it a battle for second?
Yeah, it could be a battle for second.
And we have had some issues with restarts with lapped cars in the way. So let's see how we get on.
And Mikey with a very good restart.
It looked like Bannister was still weaving.
Yeah, he looked like more worried about warming up his tires than staying with Mikey on the restart, and Mikey's got himself a decent gap. It's good to see it doesn't appear as though any lapped cars got in the way of anything so far.
I can see that a letdown estate is missing his left end plate, which is really unfortunate because he would have been chomping at the bit to have a chance to be on that third step.
And the lapped car is really doing Steve-O favors. We see him build a big gap after just one lap.
Letdown estate stays out with that wing damage. Ted with a 5-second penalty for ignoring blue flags, and he's coming across the track.
I think he's just tried to stay out of the way as best he could there and found himself in a really awkward position as a couple of cars were coming through to lap him.
Bannister with a purple Sector 1.
As Sega moves over to let Bannister through. And now nobody in between Bannister and Mikey.
Still a big gap to claim back. DRS has now been enabled.
Well, as of now, nobody in that battle for second, third, and fourth in DRS range.
No.
Which was not what I thought would happen after the safety car restart. A couple of seconds between them all.
Steve-O doing a great job. He's managed to pull a 3.4 second gap to Mikey. Mikey's still well out of DRS range of Bannister. What was the penalties looking like again?
From what I have recorded, Mikey has one, Letdown of State has one, Steve-O has one, and Bannister, I don't believe, has any.
Ooh, so that would give Bannister net second for now.
And that's, I don't know for sure, but that's what I have reported, as I've seen the notifications pop up, so we'll see. Bannister would benefit get into second place as of now, if that were the case.
Bannister's closing the gap, now down to 1.3.
We see Vega unlapping himself, and a letdown of state looks to be just letting cars through here, unlapping themselves.
Yeah,
as he's picked up that damage, he's lost some pace, unfortunately.
I think he knows he's quite secure in fourth, and with that damage he probably couldn't regain third, unfortunately, so yeah, he'll be silly to hold the other cars up for no reason.
Yeah, and he moves out of the way as Ted goes through. So the 3 lapped cars behind him. All through on that lap. And now can Bannister continue to close the gap?
Now, what I didn't realise is Bannister's third in the Drivers' Championship. So Bannister's looking like he can gain second place in the standings, as Dastardly was in second, but having disconnected from the session, he won't be able to score points.
And the gap was 15 points between Dastardly and Bannister, so if he's on the podium, that gap will disappear.
He will either be joint second or full second if Bannister doesn't have any penalties and Mikey has one.
That gap was 1.5 seconds at the beginning of the lap, now 1.2.
But if Steve-O does win this race, which it doesn't look like anything's going to come between him and that win, he will break the chain of having a different winner each race.
Yeah, it'll be his second win of the season. As we said before, he won the Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort.
Yes.
Had another podium in Spain, and aside from that, had a struggle at Monaco, and they picked up a couple of points, then a DNF last week in Baku. But here he finds himself really with a dominant performance, leading with just 7 laps to go.
And Ted has got some wing damage. I missed what happened. I've just flicked to him, but he was off in the wall and he's dropped a couple places.
And here with the battle for second, Bannister will get DRS down the long straightaway.
So penalties aside, Bannister may take that second step before applying any penalties.
Should be a great battle with just a few laps remaining.
This is making a very interesting last few laps.
And he's got that grip advantage as he's not only got DRS to help him on the straights, but he's got those soft tires to help him through the rest of the lap. He continues to close the gap.
He doesn't have much overtake though. Mikey doesn't have a lot much more. Yeah.
And he's right on his gearbox as they go through a little bit of oversteer coming out by Bannister. And he won't have the battery power to use overtake all the way down the straight. And I think that just might save Mikey here.
Depends what exit you can get out of this chicane. Mikey seems to always jump over to the left. I don't know if that's him defending and trying to get away from Bannister picking up the slipstream, or whether that's a bit of oversteer. Ooh, and he's losing a bit of traction there. Mikey.
And I think the key here for Bannister is to just have enough overtake to get the move done here. And I think he's got a really good exit. Surely he gets the move done with DRS here.
Ooh, he's very close.
He's down the inside. Can he make it stick? Yes, he does. Oh, but Mikey coming back at him.
Now, who will have DRS? Who was in front at the DRS activation zone? Mikey keeps the position for now. And Mikey has
DRS as well. Bannister looked to have the move done. But Mikey coming right back at him. And retaking that second place.
A great race in between these two. And all this while, Steve-O is just racing off ahead. He's still 3 seconds.
I think the word is comfortable for Steve-O all race. Never really been challenged.
No.
And that's credited to his pace. He's been on another level.
Well, he had pole. He has the fastest lap currently. Albeit by a tiny shaving, which Ted might be able to challenge now, depending what tyres he puts on. And I think Steve-O got that fastest lap on a set of mediums.
I think you're right. And a track where there's very little margin for error, Steve-O's driven a really clean race as well.
So he got pole, currently has the fastest lap, and currently looking strong for the win. You can't do any better than that. And if
Bannister's tires just reaching that point where they might start fading a little bit, but he's still within DRS range. He's got it here on the Sector 2 straight.
If Steve-O gets the win, that will put him on 71 points in the standings, which, depending where others finish, might put him into 4th place from 7th.
Yeah, there's a lot of congestion in the championship after the top 3. There's just 13 points separating 5 drivers. So this could give Steve-O a lot of points to break away from that group in the championship.
I mean, we finish this race, Mikey will still be the current leader in the standings.
Yeah, it'll be extending his gap to Dastardly.
Yep. Bannister may be overtaking or joining Dastardly at that point. Steve-O will be taking a big leap towards that battle for second place in the Drivers' Championship. As Ted picks up another penalty. And Bannister just has no overtake again.
Yeah, and that will cost him a lot of straight line speed.
And we are coming on to the final lap.
I think he might be well off just to save all the overtake he can all lap and give it everything down that long straightaway into the final chicane to try to get the move done. As long as he avoids mistakes, he should be staying in DRS range of Mikey.
Yeah. And what they both need to avoid right now is either of them picking up any additional penalties. And Bannister is glued to the back of that Renault.
All about who can get a good exit out of the hairpin.
Mikey with a smidgen more overtake than Bannister. I think Bannister's too far back. He's got no overtake again.
Yeah, nothing Bannister can do here. Mikey's done well to keep his place, and we'll see.
Oh, and Steve-O had a 5-second penalty.
For the win.
Steve-O had a 5-second speeding in the pit penalty, which he didn't serve, which puts him net third.
Unbelievable. Bannister goes into the win.
I don't even know what to say there. That was unbelievable.
Well, we thought that Bannister could jump Mikey for second, but I don't think either of us thought of was it a speeding in the pit lane penalty for Steve-O that he didn't
must have been, yeah. Yeah.
What an ending. As Ted crosses the line, last of the drivers to do so. And Bannister is our Canadian Grand Prix winner and driver of the day.
Fair play. I was not expecting that at the end. But Bannister puts an end to the trend of a different race winner.
Yeah, Bannister with a win in Vietnam earlier this season. But since that win at Vietnam, he hadn't managed to get back on the podium until today.
Well, that's
see
it.
Him up there on the top step.
He is now going to be on second place in the driver's title.
Yep, and closing the gap to Mikey as well.
Unbelievable. Steve-O with 8 seconds in the end. So, I'll try and go through this as it will be when it finishes. So, Bannister is in first place. Just Mikey is in second. Steve-O is in third. A letdown estate has 6 penalties. That's 20 seconds. We'll have to figure that out afterwards. So, crossing the line fourth is a letdown estate. Fifth is CHM. Sixth is Sega to Cos. Seventh is Ted. Eighth is Mike Whiteside. And then of the DNFs we have Preth, Old Dad Rules, Strident C and Dastardly. And with quite a few penalties there. Ted has got 30 seconds, so I think he will be dropping underneath Whiteside. Sega to Cos with 22 seconds and let down the state with 20 seconds. So we'll have to just decipher which ones of those penalties are exceeding track limits and which are speeding in the pits, etc., to decide any positions they will be dropping. But yes, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me, Matt. That was
a really exciting race. Thank you everybody for watching this week's Wheel2Wheel Racing AL2 Canadian Grand Prix. Until next week, everybody take care.
Stay safe. Thank you. Bye.